Here in New York, President Obama meets today with Egypt's president to discuss the airstrikes in Syria. On Wednesday, he condemned ISIS and other terror organizations in a speech to UN delegates. He used some of the toughest language of his presidency. Bill Plante is with us here in Studio 57. Bill, good morning.
Good morning, Charlie. That's for sure. The president may have seemed ambivalent about returning to combat in the Middle East, but in his speech to the General Assembly, he committed the U.S. to an all-in strategy in the battle against terrorists.
No God condones this terror. No grievance justifies these actions.
It was a call to the world to respond to the successful advance of ISIS militants and the growing threat they represent.
There can be no reasoning, no negotiation with this brand of evil. The only language understood by killers like this is the language of force. So the United States of America will work with a broad coalition to dismantle this network of death.
5 Arab nations have joined the U.S. in air attacks on ISIS in Syria, but the president called out Muslims who provide support for extremism and bolster those who preach intolerant visions of Islam.
That means cutting off the funding that fuels this hate. It's time to end the hypocrisy of those who accumulate wealth through the global economy and then siphon funds to those who teach children to tear it down.
President Obama also chaired a session of the United Nations Security Council.
The draft resolution has been adopted unanimously,
where he oversaw the passage of a binding resolution to counter the threat of foreign terrorist fighters, requiring countries to prosecute extremists, to stop them from traveling through their lands, and take steps to prevent their arming and financing. But he acknowledged stronger steps would be necessary.
Promises on paper cannot keep us safe. Lofty rhetoric and good intentions will not stop a single terrorist attack.
And there was more. The president also bluntly criticized Russia for its support of Ukrainian separatists. This speech was intended to signal the kind of strong commitment to U.S. leadership which he was criticized for lacking in recent months. And today, later, he attends a meeting organized to address the Ebola epidemic sweeping across Western Africa, which is yet another crisis in his presidency.
That is going to be a very big deal. Bill, thank you so much.